I'd like to bring now to your attention the problem of environmental pollution in the seas. In your opinion, what can be done about this problem that is global, not just in the regions?
The biggest issue of this maritime pollution is that many people don't know how serious the problem has really become. In 1972, the Stockholm Environmental Declaration was made. And 10 years after that, in 1982, I attended the Nairobi conference. And there I met a Norwegian adventurer called Mr. Hayada. And the two of us decided that we would visit all the ports in the world to appeal about this terrible maritime pollution. Unfortunately, this plan of ours was never realized. But I wanted to say that ever since the 1980s, of course, our seas were filled with what you call oil bores, the waste oil that was floating all over the world in the seas. But even today, in this age, people still put all their waste into the river. And eventually, of course, that river will lead to the sea. So all the waste and the things that people discard will eventually arrive at the sea. So what we need to do as we look towards 2050, when the world's population will reach 10 billion people, we really need to be aware of what is a terrible situation that exists today by polluting seas in the world. It's not only a pollution issue, it's really an issue of survival for humankind. And I think that is at stake, unless we change our mindset, or unless we stop discarding all the waste into the waters around us. I feel that this is very important for the whole survival of mankind.
This looks to me like a problem of education, sir. The developing countries really need to concentrate on educating their younger generation. Maybe it's too late for the older generation, but certainly the younger generation to really know the seriousness of this problem. It's a problem of survival, as you say. Would you agree?
Well, of course, it's very important, like you said, to educate people. But when we talk about education, of course, we need the political leaders. We need scholars, academics, researchers, as well as specialists, all involved to be really aware of the seriousness of this issue that we have on our hands, and for each of the people in the different sectors of our life to be able to transmit the correct information about the seriousness of this problem. And we need to establish some sort of policy mechanism so that we will be able to spread this education throughout the different countries. Otherwise, I don't think our children will be able to be educated.
So in other words, we also need the political will to make it happen.
Well, you are 100% correct. But you know, educational issues don't really win many votes. And so the priority of education is set rather low, which is another very serious issue.
Another issue close to your heart is the elimination of leprosy. Can you tell us how you first got interested in this problem?
Well, to cut a long story short, my father once lived in a village, and in the neighborhood there was a young lady that my father liked a lot. One day, this young lady disappeared from her home in the village, and he didn't know what had happened to her. In those days in Japan, there was a law saying that all leprosy patients had to be forcefully taken away and put into special facilities for leprosy patients. My father later learned that this young woman had leprosy, and that is where he started to really want to fight this disease and help those who were suffering from leprosy. When I was young, I used to travel with my father, who used to visit different leprosy hospitals in the world. And in those days, of course, to go overseas was something that was a dream for us Japanese, especially young people. And my friends and acquaintances would give me some money to buy them presents from wherever we went. So I promised my friends I would buy them something on my way back. All this money, of course, was confiscated by my father, who had taken it all to donate to leprosy hospitals. But my father always had sympathy towards the leprosy patients. And he also wanted to think of a way to cure people who had been affected by this disease. He even went as far as to inject leprosy bacterium into his body so that he could develop vaccines to prevent this disease from happening. Unfortunately, he was not able to complete that work, as midway through it he died. Therefore, I wondered, how could I help the world, help leprosy-affected people and free the world of this disease? Of course, I needed to have a strategy. I needed to have a good policy to do that. And, thanks to the cooperation of many, many people, I think we're almost at the end of the road of eliminating leprosy.